Hello there, YouTube. This is Tycooner Steve. I'm coming back at you with another recreation of an actual real-life zoo exhibit. Today we are going to go with the Scoville Zoo in Decatur, Illinois' beautiful Humboldt penguin exhibit. I've obviously got that picture of it there in the upper left-hand corner. Pretty sure I'm going to put it in the upper left-hand corner. Note to self when I edit this, put it in the upper left-hand corner. And as you can see, we're going to go ahead and try to recreate this. Now, I know I've done a few different penguin designs, or different penguin displays before, so I was a little hesitant to do this. But I haven't done Humboldt penguins, so it's an entirely new version of penguins. Plus, I just thought that sort of the sketch that we had that I found for this particular exhibit looked really cool, and so I figured, well, everyone loves penguins. We can do another round, right? Everybody loves penguins. Mostly everyone's going to love penguins for this one because this particular exhibit actually has two underwater viewing areas. So the first thing we're going to do, as you can see, is try to get the height for this viewing area correct. Just trying to get this there, and we're just going to smooth it out once we have the ability to get this nice and flat here. Might have to play with it a bit. That's going to be the hardest part of getting this exhibit right. Getting that underwater viewing area is always a pain, but they're always worth it, is usually the motto I have for underwater viewing areas. Let's go ahead and dig in a little bit here, like this, and then we're going to smooth it back, and that's going to let us kind of play with it a little bit. Like this, that's the right height. Okay, that's all the right height. For those of you who don't know how to do this, the way that you need to get your tank and your ground in front of it the same height is you actually have to build a single tank wall like I've done. The rest of that water's just being held in by a fence. And you can actually smooth sort of through the tank walls, if you understand my meaning. If you don't, just watch any of the other millions of videos that I've done with this. You can see plenty of examples, but basically the rule of thumb is you can't transfer over a level of flatness with your modify tool through a fence, but you can through a tank wall. So just build one tank wall, put the water in, and then kind of smooth back and forth until you get it to the right height that makes you happy, like I've more or less done here. I'm going to go ahead and put in these rocks here. One of the things that kind of attracted me to this exhibit is that it does have a bunch of these sort of rocks and sort of these faux like beach fences around, which is going to let me do a lot of the disguising I need to do in order to recreate it in Zoo Tycoon 2. I'm not going to be able to get a perfect recreation, but we're going to do our best to get it as close as possible. One of the places that's going to be different is you can see, I think what this appears to be, according to that drawing, is this is an area where it's kind of like one of those reverse fish tanks where they go a little bit above the air for the penguins to swim in, like you can see. But at the same time, since it's capped in the top, I think in the real exhibit there might be like an underwater tunnel the penguins have to swim into. Unfortunately, I don't know any way in Zoo Tycoon 2 to get that to work, to have both a tank and a tunnel leading into it. So we're kind of going to fudge it a little bit. We're going to play around with the edges, make it work. We're going to make it look good enough so that somebody viewing it thinks that it looks exactly the same. And one of the ways we're going to do it is by building this little cave here. Get this smoothed out again, real quick. And some more rocks. Kind of got floating rocks. Let me fill in the bottoms here to make it look a little bit like gravity is a thing. And just a line of them out from here. And a few big ones there. Just like so. Build it up so again gravity looks like things. Probably the hardest thing is you can see that there's that little faux boat on the side. I couldn't find anything that exactly mints that, so we're going to be putting in, I've already decided, we're going to be putting in something that's similar but completely different, and I think it's going to work wonderful, even though it won't make much sense. Anyway, let's go ahead and fill this in with some nice temperate coast. Humboldt penguins, like most penguins, are actually not from Antarctica. I believe they're from Chile, like South America area. Most penguins actually kind of like tropical weather. You can find more in like Australia, New Zealand, the southern tip of South America than you can in the Antarctic. Those are pretty much limited to emperor penguins for the most part. And these Humboldt guys do like their, well, not tropical climates, but they're non-Arctic tundra climates. Now to simulate sort of those beach fences that it looks like it's got going around. I couldn't find a DL fence that worked exactly, so I'm kind of making my own up here. I'm going to be putting down like a regular fence and then using these posts to make it look like they're the actual fence, and then we'll just leave like a normal... I said normal. Then we'll just leave like a border fence below it, like what I use to kind of draw out the area and sort of set my lines before anything else. That's not going to quite work. We're going to have to use these guys here to simulate that little rock wall, and I've built in some redundancy in case we had to use that space, so that's fine. It's going to become invisible for us. And I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I couldn't find any good pictures. This one, it had a really good design for it, but it didn't have very many good pictures for it. So it's kind of hard to tell some things that are exactly going on. The design was cool enough that I figured I'd go with it, but pictures always help. That's a good pro tip. If you wanted me to try to recreate something from your local zoo, an exhibit from that, please, I'm still accepting suggestions at any time. Just send it to tycoonersteve@gmail.com. That's tycoonersteve@gmail.com. But I'm going to give you a little pro tip from you to me. The more sort of pictures that you can send, or the more like blueprints that you have of the area, is the more likely I'm going to be able to do it. I've had a few people that sent me basically looked like a map with a square on it and the name of an animal. That just that's not enough to go on. I appreciate the passion, but I'm going to need a little bit more than that. So just something to think about if you're going to be sending in something, an exhibit that you want me to try to recreate from your local zoo. And we'll go ahead and throw down some cement here. Unfortunately, there's no pictures of exactly what's going on in the inside, so I'm going to just kind of use my imagination, like Figment, pretend I'm in Epcot Center in the 80s, and the good Journey into Imagination ride is still there, and like the Dreamcatcher and Figment, I'm going to just use one little spark to create the inside area. That was some real inside baseball. I hope there's somebody out there that gets that. Probably not. My channel's probably not big enough to catch that other fly, but if you do know what I'm talking about, leave a comment in the comments, and I will officially designate you the coolest listener. Listener? No, watcher. This has a video component to, I guess, theoretically. And I understand, ladies, if this is the case. You might be listening to this just to hear my sultry, smexy voice. And if you are, I totally get it. But most people do watch the video. I don't understand it. I don't need it because, again, smultry, schmexy voice. But you know, if you feel like you want the video too, that's fine as well. Okay, I'm gonna actually fudge this a little bit because I can't see where the edges of that building are. So I'm going to sort of trim it up a little bit. That way, it won't look like we have just a bunch of empty space when we go to build the inside. And I think that's gonna work. I'm gonna need to grab some railings here to get that to the right height. Beautiful! Beautiful! And again, we're just going to sort of mimic where those fences are. And I put up a real fence there just for guidelines. I think I'm gonna go back in a moment and sort of delete the actual fences. Let's throw down this pirate ship. Like I mentioned, it doesn't quite work. I guess there could have been pirates around the Tierra del Fuego there, rounding the tip of South America to get into the Pacific. That's totally where these pirates came from. They fit in perfectly with our Humboldt penguins, much like this temperate coast grass and sand will, once we paint this area in. And of course, going to do a lot more fencing. It's probably going to be the majority of the rest of this is going to be fencing, probably. So I hope you enjoy seeing me rapidly put down post in this slightly sped up video. If you can, I'm not actually this fast. Little inside baseball. I'm actually playing this video back at double speed, something like that. It's whatever. I'm speeding it up, but I'm speeding it up the least amount possible to make myself seem impressive. So I really am going super fast. You just can't tell because I'm so super fast. I'm practically, if Barry Allen sprains his ankle and you need a replacement for the Flash, you could call on Zoo Tycoon or Steve. I could do that for you. I'm willing to make the sacrifice. Make it like a little inside cage area here. I'm going to put 2 separate areas in case we need to keep our penguins separate. And then I'm also going to make a couple entrances for our zookeepers so they can walk around there too. Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea if our zookeepers can get to the exhibit as well. Just a thought I've had just now. First one to ever think of it. I'm a real innovator. Let's go with just 1 window on each side. I think that's going to work. That way they can have some privacy. Penguins love their privacy. They're known for it. That's what the P in penguin stands for, privacy. I bet you didn't know that penguin was an acronym. It's for private, well, you know the rest. I don't need to think of the rest. You got this. I don't want to insult you by giving you the rest. Let's go ahead and throw in, I'm going to be using a lot of these live bait, I can't think of the word for it. The enrichment objects. It's right there on the screen, and I couldn't think. I'm going to be using a lot of these live bait enrichment objects just to make the pools look full. Oh, that almost rhymed. The pools look fools. Just so if a penguin's not swimming around, at least our guests will have the opportunity to look at like some salmon or whatever swimming back and forth and keep it entertained. I know I've seen a couple of zoos where they'll do that with like an underwater viewing area for the hippo. Hippo usually doesn't swim in the underwater viewing area at the local zoo. Made me mad, but the thing was always full of these like really interesting looking fish, and so it wasn't. That's the only thing that kept the rage inside and prevented me from turning into a Hulk. What is incredible was those fishies there. So same thing here. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna put in. Yeah, I'm gonna put in this little wire fence. Just so it'll give the impression both that there's something actually holding the penguins in, and it doesn't really mess with the sight lines for our beautiful... Uh-oh, those fathead minnows are floating in the air. Let's get rid of those. And I think I just messed up the ground. Sure did. Sure did. Because I accidentally deleted a part of that tank wall. But easy fix. Just rebuild it and smooth it back out, and everyone's happy again. Happy as a clam. I think I'm going to... Too much grass. Let's sand this area up. I do need a different fence for this area, because this area is actually supposed to be a place where you can look at the penguins walking around, doing their thing. You know, doing the penguin. Flapping. Talking, having themselves a grand old time. I'm just having to think here for a second. I should probably speed up this part of the video as well. No. I'm going to take these little poles and kind of simulate the beach there. Make it tie in a little bit more. I think that's the way I want to do it. Okay. And same thing around here. If you want to know where I'm getting these poles, those all come from Zeta Designs. If you don't go to Ruben and Sophie's Designs or Zeta Designs and download everything they have there, your Zoo Tycoon 2 game is just not complete. So go ahead and enjoy that. For those of you who don't know, there's actually a new official DL coming out for this game pretty soon, which is amazing because the game's like 8 years old. But they're giving us like a bunch of reskins of animals. I think they're basically bringing in the graphics from the Xbox version of the game, which by all accounts is the worst version of the game, but I might download it and take a look at it, see if it makes everything prettier, see what else they're going to give us. Again, extremely weird that Microsoft is still supporting this game after so much time. They really should be working on Zoo Tycoon 3, but let's not look a gift horse in the mouth. We're getting something, and that's more than I ever expected if you had asked me like 2 weeks ago. So, I don't know if I'm going to keep it official, but you'll probably see at least 1 or 2 videos from me trying out the new stuff. So, things to be excited for as I try to make this roof without accidentally deleting parts that are supposed to stay. Stay, little roof. Stay. Why won't you stay? That's as much as I can sing without getting sued. Okay. I think we've got this mostly done. It's time to rock this world by putting down some rocks. We will rock you. Nailed it. Okay. Just kind of building up back here. Same sort of pattern that they got in the design. Let's grab some of our actual Humboldt penguins. don't really have too much I like. Ooh, we can use some of this grass here, though. This grass is going to be pretty cool, pretty sweet. Like how that looks. Like how that looks a lot. And it's also going to give us an opportunity to kind of hide our sort of messed up area that occurs when you build tank walls in lowered areas in Tycoon 2. That's one of the areas I wish they would fix. Maybe they'll do that in the update. I seriously doubt it, but maybe they will. Okay, just throw down more of this grass here in random spots. Kind of build it up around the rocks as if the seeds had got caught there, like I've discussed in previous videos. Since we had to get rid of the fathead minnows, putting some more fish. Good, good. Let's finish off this path area, like so. And put down a few palm trees, just to make it look like we haven't forgotten to foliage the area. Get that horticulture on. Let's see you, baby, doing your horticulture. And yes, there we go. You can see in the thumbnail up there that there's like a tent area. So I'm going to use these guys here to simulate that as best as possible. Quick save. And what else? What else? Oh, we need to put a roof over the area, over the second viewing area. Again, I'm pretty sure in the actual thing, you're going to find that there's like a tunnel. I have no clue how to do it. I know how to make a tunnel, but I didn't know how to make a tunnel and both sort of have the reverse fish tank effect, where the water's actually at a higher level than the land. So I decided to use that because I thought that was the more striking feature. If you do know how to do both of those, both an underwater tunnel and that water thing, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested if that's possible. I feel like it should be, but I don't think it is. At least I could not come up with a way. Let's go ahead and put this there. And here we go. We're going to do our final walkthrough. Back at regular speed. You see we can come down the gentle slope that we've provided here. And hopefully the Humboldt penguins are working. Oh, well, they're just standing there. I haven't actually tested the mods, I realize now. So, oh, no, there they go. They've come to life. They're flapping. They're doing all their little things. So, now if you would just go swimming for me, please. Or you could just stand there. Stand there like a zookeeper not doing his job. Am I right? Yeah. Humor. Well, at least you got the fishies there. I don't want to burn the place down. Unlike that hippo. Alright, we're going to go ahead and walk around here. There was another underwater viewing area. And, again, no tunnel. But we should be able to at least... Oh, there's definitely penguins in here. I had to put the chin strap penguins in here because for some reason it won't let Humboldt penguins go into the tank. Or at least not placed in the tank. I'm sure that they can get in there otherwise. But, oh, there's one up there. There's one up there. Okay. But I just wanted there to be a penguin in there. And since I couldn't make the tunnel, I had to place something. So that's why it said chin strap. I do apologize about that. Moving around here. Oh, what a beautiful shady area to go here and look. And, oh, there they are, doing the little belly slide thing. Yay, penguins! Yay, penguins! Yay, yay, penguins, penguins, penguins! That wasn't annoying at all. I'm glad I did that. They're just having a good time. That's actually a pretty good little viewing area there. I don't feel... Maybe I should include a sign that says, do not feed the animals, because I feel like tourist and problems would be all this tourist problems. But let's go ahead and head back, do our zookeeper thing. Wonder if I can get a better view of the penguin. No, he's still kind of hanging around at the top. So that might be an issue with like the fact that I put a roof over it or something. But I don't see any of our penguins. None of them went in the main water. Fortunately, there's a fish, so you can keep your pitchforks and torches at home. But oh, maybe they all went inside. We did make a nice side area, so let's go ahead and go around as if we were a zookeeper and check out what's going on inside here. Hello. So we have our little research area we built. Looks pretty good. Looks like it fills the area. And yes, there we go. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Yes, very good. Oh, that guy just popped up out of the hay like he was amazing. There was probably a better way to end that sentence than like he was amazing, but I'll be darned if I could think of one. You don't have to belly slide everywhere. You can waddle. Everything seems to be working here. And I think that's a fairly faithful recreation of the exhibit, at least within the limits of the game. I'm really, really enjoying these challenges of trying to actually physically recreate an exhibit. So if you do have one that you have adequate documentation for, let's not go crazy and, again, if it's just a square that says tiger in it, can't help you there. But if you do have like one that's like this, where it's kind of like a blueprint showing the whole area, or not a blueprint, but kind of like a design mock-up showing the whole area, or if you have one where there's plenty of pictures kind of showing what the actual thing looks like, that email address again is tycoonersteve@gmail.com. tycoonersteve@gmail.com. Just send me what you want there, and I'll definitely take a look at it. And if it's doable, I will accept the challenge. Go around back here real quick and see if anybody's hopped in the water. It looked like they all went inside because there were a lot of penguins inside there. So I'm gonna swimming in the main area. So of course, just like a real zoo, you never get what you want. You never get what you want. The animals, they're like T-Rexes. They don't want to be fed. They want to hunt. It's the theory, the essence of chaos. It's which the shorthand for is the butterfly flapping its wings in Madagascar and creating a hurricane halfway around the world, as we all know. But anyway, that was the recreation of the Schofield Zoo's Humboldt Penguin exhibit. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did like it, be sure to actually click on that like button. If you want to stay in touch with this series or any of the other amazing series on my channel, go ahead and subscribe. That's the best way to do that. And you'll also want to click on that little bell to get notifications. Other than that, this is Zoo Tycooner Steve saying bye.